Just recently, the University of Nairobi confirmed Dr. Marianne Mureithi as the first female professor of medical microbiology and immunology in the department's history at just 45 years old. She currently serves as the first female director of the Kavi Institute of Clinical Research. Achieving the rank of professor in this field is a dream come true for her. A journey that she says validates the scientific curiosity that she nurtured as a young girl. In this week's edition of Women and Power interviews, Rose Wangoi caught up with the professor who shared her academic journey as a scientist.
My name is Professor Marianne Mureithi. A professor in the Department of Medical Microbiology and Immunology in the Faculty of Health Sciences, University of Nairobi. I'm passionate about getting solutions for our communities that will improve their health and livelihoods. I grew up in Kirinyaga. I think what first inspired me to be very academic was my father. He paid so much attention to all grades. Every school occasion he was there, and I could see the joy it brought him whenever we talked about school. So I think that was one big motivation. I then got a position at the Kenya High School. I got really spiked up because biology and chemistry, the sciences are very interesting. But what really inspired me to look at infectious diseases, when I was growing up, HIV epidemic had started now gaining momentum in the world and in Africa. And I started seeing some of my close relatives and friends, or my parents' friends, passing away due to this virus. And we always talked about it in very hushed tones. So there's a lot of stigma, a lot of mystery around it. A privilege to study in the United Kingdom. I got introduced to infectious diseases experts. And I was really inspired to see, can we come up with these solutions my professors at that time were talking about. So when I finished my undergraduate, I applied for a fellowship, a PhD fellowship at the University of Bristol. Again, very competitive, and I was awarded a Joan Franklin Adams scholarship that funded my entire PhD. And at the University of Bristol is when I was introduced to international health, in that a component of my PhD was done in the Gambia. Go to villages to study what we call Streptococcus pneumoniae. By the year 2012, Africa rolled out its first pneumococcal vaccine, and I believe some parts of my research contributed to the discoveries of the pneumococcal vaccine that has now come to save millions of lives of children. From my PhD training, I moved on to do a postdoctoral fellowship, and I was again privileged to get a position at the Reagan Institute of MIT, MGH, and Harvard University. And from then, through my interactions, through the publications, I was able to then meet with Professor Omwanzala, who led me back home here at the University of Nairobi, again got a position as a lecturer, and that's how this academic ladder starts. Having achieved different milestones to senior lecturer, and then from senior lecturer to an associate professor. And as you can see, it's a long journey, particularly for a female or a woman scientist, because there are many hurdles. You're not maybe at par because of several factors. I'm a mother of 3. I have twins who are teenagers and an 11-year-old. I'm married, so again, I have my home duties, which I really enjoy. I love science, passionate about science. But for me, it's to show that as a woman, you can have it all. Being the first female medical microbiology and immunology professor from the University of Nairobi in my department is quite humbling. And I have to say, it did not come easy. It took a village, it took time. It took publications, it took teamwork where you have to have mentored students. Most recently, I'm a director of Kavi Institute of Clinical Research, one of the premier research institutes, not just at the University of Nairobi, but regionally and globally, that has been leading the front in clinical trials. We've done several clinical trials right from HIV, the first HIV clinical trials in Africa. That's almost 2-3 decades ago. Within CAVI, we have scientists who are also now looking at HIV cure, not just the preventative strategies, but can we cure HIV for those people who have been infected? So, and this is very active part of research within our institute. And end of the day, I believe in the next 5-10 years, we'll not just have a vaccine, but a strategy of curing HIV. And I am excited that we'll have a generation that will live in a world free of HIV/AIDS. And now, most recently, clinical trials to the Ebola vaccine. Actually, the Ebola vaccine that is being used in West Africa, the Ebovac, was tried here at CAVI Institute of Clinical Research, both phase 1 and phase 2s. We are also looking at other non-infectious diseases such as cancers. I've been able to sit in various boards, various committees and organizations. And the most recent one is the National Academy of Medicine, Engineering and Science of the United States, where I advise and mentor young African scientists, particularly female scientists, who aspire to become the future vaccinologists. I'm also one of the mentors in the leadership in women health, again, mentoring African women in matters health. So you can see I mentor quite a lot of women, and I'm being mentored as well. I think it will be a lifelong journey. So my advice to the young girls interested in science but scared on where to start when it comes to STEM, one is, do not dismiss your curiosity. Do not dismiss the thirst of knowledge, and do not dismiss the potential that you have in yourself. Believe in yourself. Ask the questions. Identify either a role model or a mentor who can walk with you in this journey. And for the women scientists aspiring to get where I am, it's not to give up. Use the tools you have. My future plans is to ensure that we have safe, effective vaccines that will confer protection in our future generation, because I want my children and the future generations to live in a world free of these diseases, a world free of cancers. Already we can see a light at the end of the tunnel when we look at cervical cancer because of HPV vaccines.